It's on my wrist.
Ginger Runner.
What is up, everybody? Ethan Newberry, the Ginger Runner, here for another Ginger Runner review. Probably pretty anticipated review, and one that I've been excited about, been thinking a lot about, taking lots of notes on over the last couple of months. We're reviewing a watch from Coros. It is the Coros Pace 2. Before we get started with this review, I need to point out that this watch was provided for review by Coros. I am not a sponsored athlete. I am not an ambassador to the brand. I can say whatever I want about the watches, good or bad. And in fact, I believe, because I think they watch these videos, whether or not they like them is another story, they do like hearing the things I dislike about the products because it just makes the products better. But let's talk about this thing. It's considered their entry-level GPS watch at $199, but it is also packed with features. I've used dozens of GPS watches over the years with all sorts of levels of features and abilities. Especially in the last few years, I've noticed that brands just bring more and more and more feature sets to their watches, but the reality is I'm really only looking for reliable and trustworthy data from a few data sets. Is my mileage accurate? Is my vert accurate? Is my speed accurate? And is my heart rate accurate? Those are really the data sets I'm looking for over and over again. I've reviewed the Vertix, I've reviewed the Apex Pro, which actually has been my go-to watch for the last year. I absolutely love it. So the Pace 2 comes in at a lower price point, but it manages to pack in a lot of what is great about Coros watches into a tiny, very lightweight package at a pretty damn good price point too. So calling it Coros's entry-level watch is kind of a misnomer because by no means is this entry-level, especially compared to where GPS watches were a couple of years ago. The Pace, and now Pace 2, is Coros's entry-level GPS watch, but that title doesn't do it justice. The Pace 2 sports a 1.5 times more powerful processor, 5 times more RAM, 4 times more storage, leaving lots of room for expanded features. The watch sports a 42mm bezel with Corning glass and either the silicone or nylon strap. What you're seeing here is the nylon strap, which makes it a little bit lighter as well. Coros brings an optical heart rate monitor, barometric altimeter, accelerometer, compass, gyroscope, thermometer, a low weight, high durability, and amazing battery to a $199 price point. We've also found in the last few years that a watch is only as good as its app or ability to remove frustration from the UI and UX. Luckily, Coros has seemed to find the balance between great hardware and decent UI and UX. So, does the Coros Pace 2 set the new standard in feature set, affordability, or does the watch itself suffer from just trying to cram too much into a small package at a small price point? Well, I hope to figure that all out in today's review. As always, I like to talk about the things that I like and dislike about a product, starting, as always, with things that I like. Affordable workhorse. So we're talking about a $199 price point, which is a very reasonable price for a GPS watch with as many features packed into it. You look at that price point across the competition from Garmin, Sunto, Polar, even Casio, you're getting a lot, but you're getting a lot in this price point and this package. As I mentioned in the intro, it's got the optical heart rate sensor, which, you know, I always take that with a grain of salt, but seems as accurate as you can get out of a wristwatch at this point. A barometric altimeter, which is great for those of you who are tracking your elevation gain and loss or your altitude. An accelerometer, compass, gyro, thermometer, all of these additional sensors crammed into this little package, which also makes this watch able to provide you with power readings. So if you're someone who's used a Coros pod or a Stride pod in the past, this watch has that type of data set built in. I've never been a fan of analyzing my stride or my runs to that degree, but many of you triathletes, road runners who are tracking stride length, height, all that, you'll be able to get that data out of this watch without the addition of a pod. Though if you have a pod, you can use it, connect it, do all that. So if you're looking for a watch that does a lot of things at a lower price point, Pace 2, it's got it. Weight. It is an extremely lightweight watch. This one weighs 30 grams, though claimed to weigh 29 grams. I just weighed it. It's 30.1 grams with the nylon wrist strap. It is an extremely lightweight watch. I'm not necessarily looking for a lightweight watch. Never thought I was, at least. But what we're getting here is a watch that just disappears on your wrist. So if you're someone who suffers from like watch band aggravation or having a big clunky watch on your wrist becomes bothersome, this is small, 42mm bezel package, a narrower strap. The watch itself does all of the features that you needed to do in a very lightweight, subtle package on your wrist. You're gonna forget that you're wearing it, which is, I guess, good or bad. But in my case, I like it. Battery. This is something I've talked about with every Coros watch that I've reviewed up to this point. The batteries in these things, I don't know the magic dust they sprinkle on the watch. This has great battery life. We're talking 20 days of average basic use, 30 hours in full GPS accuracy mode, or 60 hours in ultra max mode with GPS tracking. My real world numbers are just over that, actually. So I'm getting a little bit more life out of this watch than even the advertised numbers, which is never the case. So in real world terms, what ends up happening is you have to charge the watch every 2 weeks or so. You almost have to set a reminder in your phone to remind yourself to plug the watch in to recharge, because what's ended up happening is I've gone to a run weeks after charging it and realized, oh, I only have 10% battery, but then the watch still lasts through that run. I'll get home, charge it. The other good thing is that it charges so fast. They claim 2 hours to charge this thing from 0 to 100%. You can plug it in for like 5 or 10 minutes and get enough to get through a workout. So if you're sitting in the car at the trailhead and going, I don't have enough juice in the watch, just plug it in, listen to a song, and by the time it's done, you're ready to go. Great battery life, great charging speed. It's good. Screen readability. So this is a new like and a subtle one with this watch. I don't know if they've changed the nit of brightness in the actual LCD screen, but for some reason, this is so much more readable than any of the other Coros watches that I've been using up to this point. I can read it from a foot or two away on my wrist when the sun is beginning to go down before hitting the backlight. It's really nice to be running at that dusk hour, look at your watch and not have to click the backlight, which uses more battery and all that sort of stuff. So it's been much more readable. They're doing something new and I like it. App updates and integration. So sort of what I was talking about earlier in this review is that watches these days have to go a little bit above and beyond. With just having a feature set isn't enough. You also have to have a pretty good app or a user backend that you can download your data, analyze your data, upload it to websites like Strava, Training Peaks, and stuff like that. So Coros is stepping up their game every month or so. There's some new update to their app or integration or watch features that just continues to push their own technology. So it's not just the hardware and what you see on the watch, it's also what you're getting in the app. One cool thing that we're able to see on the watch is battery usage breakdown. So you can analyze exactly how much battery you have left. It will tell you how many GPS hours you have left or how many days usage you have left based on how you use the watch. It's great to see workouts finally incorporated into their app. You can design a workout incredibly easily, download it directly to your watch, use that workout while you're running. It does it all very seamlessly. It's such a relief to finally have that. I know I've been asking for it for a year now on their watches. They finally integrated it. This was the first watch I really started to use it on, and it's great. Coros also has the new track run mode. If you're running around a 400-meter track, they have this mode dialed. No matter what track you're running on, it will give you accurate 400 splits. It's a really wonderful mode for those of you who are looking to do speed workouts on a designated 400-meter split track. One of my favorite new customizations is the ability to customize the toolbox menu, which is just that quick access menu. Before you weren't able to determine what items were in there. Now you can pick and choose what items you want on that quick menu, which is something I asked for in a specific review. Coros might have heard my review. I'm hoping they put it in. It works. I love it. It just proves that Coros listens to their customers, their feedback. They want to make these watches better, the integration between the watch and the app better. All of it. They just want to be as great as they can make it. It's really cool to see, especially out of a smaller company who's sort of taken the GPS watch game by storm right now. It's not all adorable puppies with long tongues. There are a couple of things I dislike about the Coros Pace 2 GPS watch. Right? User interface and app polish. So there are a number of things that sort of bug me with the interactivity with the watch. For example, you can't delete a workout that's longer than 60 seconds off the watch. If you accidentally click start and it goes for 61 seconds and you're like, oh crap, I started my workout and you want to stop it, you can't delete that. You actually have to upload it to the app, which will then populate Strava and your other connected accounts. If it's less than 60 seconds, you can delete it, but why not have the option to delete any workout that you create? Even if you go into AI Trainer, it doesn't give you the option to delete the workout if it's already been recorded longer than 60 seconds. That's weird. There's a couple finicky things where you're trying to navigate backwards in a sub menu. So if you're selecting something and you go into a menu inside the menu and then you try to go back one level, you'll end up going all the way back to the clock, the watch face, which is a big time suck because then you have to navigate back into the menus to select something different. If you're in the middle of a workout and you want to activate the backlight, if you press any of the buttons, it'll just activate whatever that button does. So if you press the wheel, it'll pause the activity. If you press the lap button, it'll create a lap. The only way around that is if you lock the screen during a workout mode and then you can press any button. It won't necessarily unlock the screen, but it will activate the backlight. It'd be great to have your own dedicated backlight button, or you just have to click it into night mode whenever you're working out, and that'll just leave the backlight on throughout the workout. Aside from the watch, the app itself feels still a little rough around the edges. They're constantly improving what sort of data sets is displayed, what sort of data that you can analyze, and how you analyze it, but the reality is, the app itself just really isn't pretty. Anytime you want to go into any sort of feature set and analyze the data, you then have to rotate the screen on your phone. It doesn't allow you to go either way. And as far as user interface and user experience is concerned, it's not polished enough. It's not all there. They may not have a lot of programmers on the back end. They may be just like wanting to get as many features as possible. But when the app is the entire world and ecosystem in which the Coros activities and data sets live, you want it to be as rich and enjoyable as possible. And it's still rough around the edges. It still feels like it does from the very beginning. So you can look at your data, you can kind of analyze it, but it doesn't give you everything. Not a really polished experience. The strap. So this nylon strap is very light. It's very durable. But the reality is, it sucks. I think that the hook and loop Velcro that they're using here is fine. It keeps the strap connected, but this strap is so easy to unvelcro that if you catch it on a hydration pack or a sleeve or something like that, the watch can easily come undone. They do have a little tab here that's incorporated into the strap that keeps it from coming undone all the way, which is nice. But I've had it happen multiple times on a run where I'll have to like retighten down the strap, and it does become bothersome. The Velcro, the hook and loop, just isn't super great. For a few grams added weight, I would go for the silicone strap over the nylon strap. I don't think the weight savings are necessarily worth the poor use of Velcro. And finally, this is something I've talked about with other Coros watches in the past, and that's the GPS satellite updating, something that you manually have to do within the app. I haven't figured out exactly when or how it needs to be updated. It sometimes does it automatically. It sometimes gives you a warning that in 6 days and 20 plus hours, you have to update the GPS satellite data. And it's like, why are you telling me this now? That's a long ways from now. I'm not going to remember. And then sometimes you'll open up the app, you'll connect your watch, and then you'll select GPS satellite update, and then it will all of a sudden just update. I don't know why it's not automatic and why that is part of the front end experience for a user as opposed to let's all let this happen in the back end. I actually don't know right now if it's updated or not. So I wish this was something that happened behind the scenes. I don't want to worry about it. But that is it for my dislikes about the Coros Pace 2. So in conclusion, this is it. This is the affordable GPS watch that packs a punch. If you are looking to get a GPS watch to track your workouts, whether it's on roads, around a track, or on some trails, this does it all. I've been using Coros a lot over the years, primarily in the last year. I've really just never really needed to deviate from it. It's been an extremely reliable experience. I was skeptical early on. I had friends that used their watches that were like, hey man, no, it's really good. And now I am that person saying, yeah, they're really good. And compared to some of the problems that I'd have in the past with Sunto and Garmin, I feel really bad for the Garmin users. About a month ago, we all know what happened and it was not great. Haven't had any issues like that with Coros whatsoever. And anytime an issue does pop up, they tend to fix it immediately. Which is kind of a cool thing to see. And I think it's because they're small, they care about their products and their customer base, and they just get things done. And the products work. So the watch itself, it's not going to give you all the apps and all those additional customization and features that you might get out of a more expensive watch or watches from other brands. But what you do get for $199 is a reliable piece of electronics, that'll give you plenty of lovable experiences. Lovable? With a battery life that will last a long time. And that is huge. All right, so let's get a little bit more specific. Most of the criteria that I get specific with shoes on doesn't necessarily apply here, so I might change them up just a little bit. Starting with build quality. I actually like the build quality of this watch. I think it's better built than what you might assume based off of its weight and its lack of those bigger materials like titanium and sapphire glass. It doesn't have all that stuff, but what it does have is a scratch resistance and an overall durability that's holding up just fine for regular everyday use, even trail use. Battery. So I'm going to incorporate this here because it is an electronic item. And of course, I've talked about the battery life in Coros for a long time. It is fantastic. It is a wonderful use of battery life. Now, I haven't got to test any of the Garmin's solar abilities, but what you do get here is like almost a month of usage, just regular everyday use, plus 30 hours for GPS use. If you're running 100 miles, you could probably get a full race out of this watch without really running into battery issues. Of course, depending on the 100-mile course, let's be honest. So yeah, battery I've just been incredibly happy with. Reliability. So again, this is where you can really begin to compare watches to watches. Is the GPS reliable? I have found that it is, even on trail runs, despite the fact that this watch doesn't have a trail run workout mode. It still does pretty well on our local trails here in Washington State. Heart rate data, I always take it with a grain of salt. It's been fine, but then again, I'm not really comparing it to heart rate monitors or anything like that. To be totally honest, I'm trying not to care about heart rate as much and more about effort and output. But I do pay attention to the heart rate here, and it seems consistent with how my body feels and what I've tested in the past. Overall reliability and trustworthiness of the data is right there, and that's a good thing, especially in a GPS watch. Price at $199, that is a pretty dang good price point for a GPS watch. I'm not gonna say that that's cheap, but I'm not gonna say it's expensive, because I reviewed watches that are 3 times that price, if not more. For $199, you get a lot of watch, a lot. So put this on your map. Even if you're looking for something more expensive, you may not need to spend $300 or $400 more. This may be enough. And finally, looks. Who cares about looks, right? I do. Supposedly, this watch is navy. That is a hard push. This thing looks black, if not dark gray. It's not until looking under a really bright light that you go, oh, the watch face is navy, and the strap is not. So you're gonna get a little color mismatch there. The other thing is the watch faces. I've talked a lot about those with Coros in the past. They are not great. They are designed by a graphic designer. That's basically it. I wish you could customize your own watch faces. I don't think they're great. That is why I keep it to this clean, simple watch face. But honestly, looks is completely subjective, and who cares how a watch looks? As long as it works, that's all that matters, right? Bringing us to our final criteria, is the Coros Pace 2 a buy, try, or a why? I have a feeling you know exactly what I'm going to say. It's a buy. I think you get a huge bang for your buck here. $199 for a GPS watch that lasts a long time, records data accurately, gives you the results and all of this additional power data, things that you can use for years to come to analyze your stride, running ability, your strength, recovery, all of that stuff. You're going to get all of those metrics with this watch, and it is at a great price point. So yes, it is a solid buy, and I'm very confident in that decision. It's a great watch. I don't think I've been that confident in a watch recommendation yet. So my friends, I now turn the tables to you and ask you, is the Coros Pace 2 a watch that you would even be interested in? Does it have the features that you want in a watch or need in a watch? In the comments of this video, let me know if you've used the Pace or the Apex or any of the Coros watches in the past, and if the Pace 2 is something that intrigues you. If you have more questions or want more information about the watch, or you want to get one for yourself, there are links in the description that will take you over to Running Warehouse. If you are a Patreon member, don't forget there's also a coupon code. Definitely go use those links. They are affiliate links. They cost you nothing. They help the channel out, so consider it if you haven't already. When you need to get all your running gear, hit up Running Warehouse. Thanks, everyone. That is it for today's review. If you liked it, make sure you like, favorite, and subscribe to this channel. YouTube.com/TheGingerRunner. New videos every single week. New live streams all the time. Right over here is social media links you can follow across the board if you want to find out more about what's going on here behind the scenes and find out before videos are uploaded, all that good stuff. At the bottom, patreon.com/TheGingerRunner. That is how you can support this channel, as well as getting amazing perks on the back end. For the $3 level and above on Patreon, you get daily live streams. We're doing live streams every single day. You won't want to miss them. We're calling it Daily Brew. We talk about stories and running and gear and all that stuff over a cup of coffee or a beer. Here is just a hint at what you're missing. I'm curious if the nougat is the soft nougat that's in the Milky Way.
It's soft.
Can't do it. Hate it.
Okay, don't eat it.
Ugh, I won't. Yeah, so head on over to Patreon. You don't want to miss it. Yep, that's it, everyone. Thank you so much. We hope you are getting out there training as hard as you can, virtually racing harder, and partying the hardest. I know I am. We'll see you guys next week for more fun. Okay? Bye-bye.